everybody, Yakri here with another Warframe video. So this time I want to talk about Exalted weapons again and the change to them that was recently made. And there's one big thing that I didn't really touch on in my previous Exalted weapon video, which, you know, to be honest, was because I was kind of rushing it out since I had to head off to California in a couple hours when I made that. So there's this big issue with Exalted weapons right now. Which is basically that the melee Exalted weapons were majorly nerfed by the change, for no conceivable reason that I can see. Basically, the issue is that they have their stances locked in, right? The Exalted weapon stances. And the Exalted weapon stances have no mod cost, right? Mod point cost. What do they call that? Mod... I just call it mod points. I don't know. Capacity. Right, it's the no mod capacity. That's the in-game for it. Right. Okay, so they have no capacity, which means that compared to a normal melee weapon, like, what am I gonna... Oh, let's grab me a Galatine, right? We're missing 10 points, right? Yeah, 10 points. So compared to any other melee weapon, you're missing 10 capacity that you would otherwise have. And this makes for some interesting problems. For regular Excalibur, this means that you need to mod the shit out of him. Or not form of the shit out of him, right? To be able to use his optimal builds. You start you with 3 polarities, but this is really insufficient. You're going to need, like, what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 forma to get him up to snuff, I believe. And in addition to needing 5 forma to get him up to scratch, you're going to have this problem where you can only use probably 1 build with him, because you're going to have your weapon, what's the total number of slots you got here? 2, 4, 8 forma total, right? It's going to have 8 polarities, and this is kind of this is going to be pretty much the case for all the Exalted melee weapons, because you don't have enough slots. Is it really quite that bad? Yeah, it's pretty close to that with the with some of the extra, with the prime mods included that you kind of are like pseudo mandatory. Maybe you only need 4 forma or so for some of them. However, there's one big problem. Now I'm going to switch over to Excal Umbra. So actually, I've kind of just casually shown his visuals off in some of my videos now, but Just letting you know if you want to duck out because you don't even want to see what he looks like. I don't know if you've avoided that somehow. And these mods. So these are the new Prime mods introduced. So pseudo, like, these are the Umbra mods, right? They're very similar to Prime mods, except they have a set bonus, and they don't get their full value as if they were Prime mods without the set bonus. So here's the thing, and with the set bonus, they're a little bit better than Prime mods, though. So these mods give Umbra Excalibur a significant issue, which is that he's better than regular Excalibur in a lot of ways, but he's worse than regular Excalibur when it comes to DPS, because condition overload builds are, I believe, the highest DPS, best way to do regular Excal. So there's another problem here, which is that he only has 2 slots formed. So you're going to need a solid 6 forma for Excal Umbra, and once you do get 6 forma, you will not be able to do a chromatic blade build with him without it being kind of shit, because you don't get the 10 mod points from this, and you have to get rid of Sacrificial Steel, right? Sacrificial Steel is a shit mod because it increases crit damage, and you're not going to do a crit build, or crit chance? Yeah, I thought it was crit damage. Crit chance, sorry. My bad. So you have to get rid of that, and here's the thing. Now, Sacrificial Pressure Point, I believe, is actually worse than Pressure Point. I can't really compare it because I haven't maxed them both out. Yeah, I believe it's worse than Pressure Point if you don't have the set bonus, right? So now you need to get rid of Sacrificial Pressure Point. So this means now you need to wrong polarity slot 2 mods. And for the optimal Excalibur condition overload with chromatic blade build, you can't fit this. You can't do it. You cannot fit the optimal build. So you're fucked. Regular Excalibur just does more damage. And yeah, it seems pretty bullshit. And this could be fixed by giving, I believe it giving you the extra 10 points in the top slot, stance slot, fixes the issue. And personally, I think they should go a step farther. I think the Exalted weapon should start with 20 points in the stance slot. feel like DE probably thinks this is too generous, and we have to grind the ever-living shit out of these weapons. However, I feel like they really ought to be easier to forma up than your regular melee weapons, considering they're part of a Warframe. And one of these Warframes is a fucking starter Warframe, and it's extremely new player inaccessible and unfriendly to have it work this way. It was, in fact, much better when you could just use a melee weapon, because effectively you got a kind of a 2-for-1 deal, right? You could have especially with the condition overload variation, you could have a melee weapon, form it out for this, and it could be a weapon. A lot of people use the Mire for the measly 10% additional bonus for true optimalness. However, you could just as easily use a weapon that's actually good, and just pimp that out for both using condition overload Exalted Blade build, and yeah, have it be like essentially a 2-for-1 deal. You've got a melee weapon that's useful on all frames, and it's also the format out setup for Excalibur's Exalted Blade, and now you just have some issues. So I'm not really a big fan of what they've done with this. It feels like they're just fucking people over, because fucking people over is kind of better for their business model than making things a little bit easier on us. So yeah, I think the change that needs to happen is that this stance slot needs to give like 20 polarity, at least 10, minimum 10, but ideally 20 polarity. All the exalted weapons just right across the board. We can maybe compromise and do 15, but really it should be 20. Make these things fucking easier, much easier to mod. So maybe we only need like 3 forma for regular Excalibur. This not going from all the way to 20. Also, like kind of since you won't need as many forma, it opens them up to more build flexibility, so you don't have to lock yourself into builds with fucking forma. Yeah, so that's what needs to happen here. Excalibur Umbra, in particular, could really use some loving in this area. Maybe, I don't know, why doesn't he come baked? I guess they probably can't do it now, I bet, with how they've set things up. But why the fuck doesn't he come with a goddamn like Y polarity in addition, at least like a 3rd polarity, like regular Excalibur? He's not the prime Excalibur, in air quotes, but he's kind of the prime Excalibur. He's at least, they seem to be setting a precedent at the very least that Umbra frames will have the same stat block as primes, as well as some nifty changes in the Umbra mods, like minor changes in the Umbra mods. So I don't know. I think they need to fucking change it. I'm actually was kind of waiting on making this video because I thought they would do it already. So come on, where's the fucking hotfix? You just need to give a stat to these fucking mods that's already on all your other stance mods. It's all it takes. Oh, you probably need to patch in a fucking stance polarity too. That's problematic, but you'll have only yourselves to blame, DE. Alright, thank you all for watching. If you like this content and you want to see more like it, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Yakri out.